Arnold with Gerald Brigade with PH Announced.
Hey Brian, congrats on completing your first draft as GM.
Thank you.
Yeah, just wanted to ask, obviously you guys did some maneuvering in order to move up to 31 and agree in principle to take Rasheed Fleming. Obviously you must have felt pretty strongly about him as a prospect to want to grab him at the very start of the second round. What do you like so much about his two-way versatility, his measurables, and how he can fit with your program?
Yeah, when to hitch on the last point, the measurables obviously are off the chart, and when you look at kind of the groundwork that we're laying in terms of some of our recent action, you're starting to see the profile of, really high character guys that love to play, that are, just guys that want to get better, are going to work to get better, and you see in Rasheed that over his years at St. Joe's, great length, great athletic ability, physically tough, plays with that toughness, that grit that is so important to us. Shot extremely well from the three, deflections, shot blocking, all those different things that just shows his activity level on the defensive end. Again, just 20 years old. So there's a pathway for an improvement that, we're really, really excited about. Billy Lang is his college coach, and I go back a long way. Billy was an assistant coach for 6 years with the Philadelphia 76ers, and just raved about him in every possible aspect, from his work ethic to the kind of person he is, to the teammate that he is. And very similar to last year with Oso, if you do your research and you do your due diligence and you have a great scouting group, some of those picks in the 30s and early 40 range, you can really come out with some really good players. And I think we did that today.
All right, next up is going to be Doug Haller with The Athletic.
Hi, Brian. There are a lot of good shooters in this draft every year. What makes Kobe different?
Well, there's only one. I think he led the country in three-point shooting. So there's only one number one. The one thing he is, obviously, he's proven during his entire career at Dayton and at Kentucky, just how good he is shooting the ball. But every year he's gotten better and added another dimension to the shooting, where maybe early it was spot ups, then it became off of some pin downs and stagger screen actions, then it came off of actions off the dribble, then it was a little bit of the NBA with the sidestep threes and the step back threes. So that progression that we were able to evaluate and watch was a big reason for us taking him. He is an NBA three-point shooter. At just a tad under 6'7", or right at 6'7", he also has the ability to shoot over a contested defender, which is really important in our game today. Has been well coached. I think Coach Pope is one of the best coaches in the country. Anthony Grant at Dayton, and I have a long-standing relationship. Obviously, I know everybody in the program. And again, we're just bringing in high-quality young men that are excited about coming to Phoenix, excited about playing for the Suns. They understand how important becoming a part of the community is for us moving forward as we're setting new standards and different things like that. And when you just talk to them, you can feel it that they're going to be just great parts of our team.
Next up is Richard Syons with Fox 10.
Hey Brian, good to see you. Congrats on your first draft. You talked about wanting to get a certain type of player. One thing I've noticed about all three guys is they've improved with each and every year.
Yep.
Was that part of the guys that you're looking for, guys who are willing to put in the work and get better and be coachable and work on their game?
Yeah, great question and right on the money, no doubt about it. You improve your organization, you improve your team through the draft, through free agencies and trades. And if you remember during my press conference, I talked about the fourth way that we were really going to put even a greater emphasis on, and that's player development. And so as we move into that with Coach Ott, and one of the reasons he's our new head coach is because that's very, very important to him. He kind of cut his teeth in the league as a guy that was known for his time spent with players and getting them better. And so when you bring in guys that's already part of their DNA, it just makes it easier. That transition to what's important to us and the accountability, the standards that we have for them on a daily basis, they already have it. You know what I mean? They already got it. There is no learning curve here. That's one of the best things, you know, with our scouting group, with the amount of former college coaches in that group. Their relationships across the country have opened up new opportunities for us to get important intel on these players, not just on their personal stuff and all that, but really also, you know, on their work ethic and what's important to them. When we did a lot of interviews, one of the questions I always ask is, do you really love to play? It's amazing how many guys don't. And if you love it, you're going to not only work, but you're going to work when you don't feel like working. And that's a big difference. And I think through this last 48 hours, we brought in a pretty good amount of guys that love to work even when they don't want to.
Next up is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports.
Ryan, when you look at what you guys were able to do today, moving around the draft a couple of different times, that's a lot easier said than done. It's not as easy as you guys made it look. What do you think allowed you guys as a front office to function as a unit and get all of these moving parts together to come away with Rasheed and Kobe?
Yeah, day two's even harder because you have 1 minute less on the clock. Again, all morning long and afternoon meeting and planning and you know, strategically looking at who might go where and when. The second round is much more difficult than the first round. Having things planned, you know, almost like the flow chart. If this happens, we're going to here, and then we got to pivot here and different things like that. A lot of phone work. But again, with Matt in town, with us constantly in that war room communicating to each other, bouncing different ideas off each other with myself and Matt Tellum, Paul Rivers, Josh Bartlestein, and Matt Ishbia, Arande playing a big role in what we're doing now. Those communication and the fact that we're all on the same page and we're able to make the calls and get the information that we're looking for does make it smoother. It's still very intense in there as you're looking at the picks and having to make the picks, possible trades, all those different things. But we're pretty much on the same page, or as sometimes I like to say, aligned.
Next up is going to be Dana Scott with the Arizona Republic.
Wondering if there is any factoring of Rasheed's length and his shooting ability, something that we needed on the wing, and as the NBA is changing more towards that, having that height and length along the wings, does that impact you guys' decision to pick him because you're losing Kevin in that trade to Houston?
Well, I'll talk about Rasheed only. I mean, you look at the league, and there's times where you downsize, you know. And I think, you know, through the things that we were able to accomplish over the last 48 hours, we're going to be much better protecting the rim, much better scoring around the rim. We have lob threats now. We have guys that can catch the ball in a short roll and make plays, either score or find different people in those offensive actions. And Rasheed gives us the ability now to stretch the court. You know, to build a team, you got to have different pieces. There's got to be a core foundation of, okay, this is what we do. We're going to defend with much more an aggressive attitude. We're going to create and cause turnovers. We're going to defensive rebound with physicality. On offense, we're going to play with pace and play faster, look to score faster, move the ball better, cuts, all those different things. And when the shot goes up, we're going to offensive rebound. We're going to emphasize going to the offensive glass. So to do that, I think the guys that we brought in all fit those things that are going to be important. And then they all have their, individual niches as well. And I think Rasheed brings a lot of that for us.
We'll do two more. Next up is Gerald Gregory.
Hey Brian, a quick two-parter for you. Number one, obviously Malawatz was a kind of a special situation in terms of having him in, not having him in for a pre-draft workout. Were you able to get these two guys in the building beforehand? And second, as far as Rasheed's defense, you mentioned the insane measurables that he has. His ability to rack up steals and blocks is very impressive. How do you kind of fit him into your defense as a multi-positional defender?
Yeah. It's so interesting in the workouts, and we had a lot of workouts, and they were great. And our coaching staff with like Chasen Allen and some of the guys, John Little, our G League coach, those two guys did a great job of running those workouts and really testing and challenging the guys that came in, and they were tremendous workouts. Rasheed Fleming did not come in. With us at the 29th pick to start, it's difficult to get some guys in that are projected way before that. You know what I mean? So luckily, because of our contacts and our ability to evaluate with our scouting group, we saw him play probably 7-8 times live. He was on our draft board from day one last summer, and to bring him in and was just not in his schedule. Guys, I always think they probably do too many. We had some guys in that had done 15, 16, 17 workouts. That's really hard. You're not going to be able to present your best self. I like them because I get to, be with the guys face to face and on the court, which is something the guys like, I like, the coaches like. So I think those are important, more on that aspect. And with our connections to the St. Joe's program and to the league that he played in Philadelphia, New Jersey, and stuff like that, we were able to get a pretty good read on him. I've mentioned it before, you look at the playoffs and you got to have guys that can do the things that Rasheed can do on the defensive end. It's a must now. It really is. The physicality, I think, is something that goes unnoticed. He's big and strong already at age 20. He's only going to get stronger, only going to get better versed in what needs to be done on the defensive end at the NBA level.
All right, final question will be Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports.
Hey Brian, to flip it on offense for Rasheed, the numbers from three were great, the volume was great from three. How do you guys project the range developing on his jumper, and then also the off the dribble game and like the couple of dribble decisions that he can make in those situations?
Yeah, I think, again, I think he's a good three-point shooter, and he's got a lot of work to do to become a good three-point shooter in the NBA, simply because of the distance. And to be honest with you, everybody does. That's why you want to bring in guys that are going to work and spend time and challenge themselves to get better. The foundational piece is there. The balance piece is there with his footwork. He's really good coming, off and going inside pivot and getting squared up. All those different things that you look for in a guy, because that projects for them to continue to grow as shooters. So I definitely like that. I think in terms of ball skills and different things like that, as a 20-year-old, he's in a good place. But as I tell the guys when we interview them one-on-one, none of these guys are good enough. If they don't keep getting better, people are just going to pass them by. But that's why you want to bring in guys that love to work, want to get better, want to be coached. That's a big thing. You got to want to be coached. That means you got to hear some hard truths sometimes, and you got to seek that out. You got to want to hear that, because when you do that, you take that and you move on and you grow from it. I think he's one of those kind of guys.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.